Fire, 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 fire.
Female action movies are dead. Girl boss fatigue killed them. Uh-oh.
When I did my review of Ballerina a few days ago, the most obvious point of comparison was Furiosa, and it's not hard to see why. Both movies were female-led spin-offs from established male action franchises, both starred pretty likeable actresses playing well-rounded protagonists, both came away with solid audience scores and positive critical reviews. There was no backlash, no negativity around them, no controversies or media firestorms.
I kinda wanna watch it.
No actors shooting their mouths off.
It's Hollywood, baby.
And yet, both of them flopped at the box office. The question is, why? Well, this is where things get a bit contentious, so pay attention, dear viewer, because we're taking a deep dive into the murky world of film franchises. One of the fundamental problems that both of these films struggled with is that it's always tricky to launch a spin-off from a franchise that's so heavily based around its central character. Franchises like Star Wars or Marvel or Star Trek are bigger than any one character or story, and so they lend themselves much more easily to spin-offs and side projects. It's more about the world than the people in it. Character-based franchises are a completely different story though, because they are the selling point. In this case, both John Wick and Mad Max soon became bigger and more memorable than the actual movies they were part of. Most people would probably struggle to remember the plots for John Wick 2 and 3, but
well, yeah, there's just so much shooting and shit, man.
They remember Keanu Reeves was fucking cool, and that's what they really gravitated towards.
Yeah, I love action slop, as long as it's really good slop.
That right there is what kept them coming back for the next installment. Mad Max Fury Road kinda struggled with this problem because Mel Gibson had aged out of the role while the movies were on hiatus, forcing the studio to bring in a younger Tom Hardy to replace him. They more or less got away with that though, partly because the awesome action scenes compensated for it, but also because there was still some kind of continuity there. Even if the actor might have changed, it was still the same character they'd come to know and love over the years.
Or is it? That's the bummer about these scriptwriters. They're just gonna do whatever the fuck they want.
Both Furiosa and Eve from Ballerina didn't have the benefit of all that fan goodwill and attachment. They had to earn it like they were starting from scratch. They weren't piggybacking off the success of their predecessors, they had to stand on their own merits and earn it for themselves. Unfortunately, their studios didn't seem to understand this and budgeted both movies like they were mainline sequels. To put this into context,
you can forgive not having really flashy effects if the story is really good, man.
The original John Wick brought in $86 million worldwide, which isn't exactly blowing the lid off the global box office, but it didn't have to. It only cost $20 million to make, and so that $86 million haul generated a nice little profit for the studio. Ballerina, on the other hand, is projected to make about $100 million worldwide, which would have been great news if the studio had the sense to budget it like the first John Wick.
Oh my god, they probably spent $250 million. Again, they could have just done a better job on the story and left out a lot of action scenes and made it more impactful. That's the problem with these slop jobs.
But they didn't. It cost $90 million to make, more than 4 times as much as the first movie, and so it needs to make 4 times more to turn a profit. And clearly, it's not gonna make it. It's the same story with Furiosa. That film brought in $178 million worldwide, which would have been great news if it had cost 40 or 50 million, but it didn't. It cost $168 million.
Oh, what is going on? Bro, they used to budget this shit like so much better, man. Furious, I heard, was good. Yes, it's supposed to be half decent. But again, half decent doesn't cut it anymore.
That's insane for a movie with an unproven character from a franchise that always specialised in low-budget action thrillers. My point here is that spin-offs generally don't generate as much interest or as much revenue as the original movies, and if both studios had been realistic about what these films could actually achieve and adjusted their expectations and budgets accordingly, they might have ended up turning a solid profit instead of being depressing flops. Now, that's the business side of the equation, but there's a much bigger problem that's brought down both of these films.
I just want to say I am so sick of these stories of people taking... Why can't we have original characters like Lara Croft, for example? We don't need spin-offs in that sense, man. We need characters that stand on their own without having some sort of male backup. You know, like falling back on the whole, oh, well, if they have a female John Wick, it's like, how about we just don't have a John Wick and we just have a cool female? Like, why don't we just have that? You don't need to, like, trampoline and jump off of his back.
A cultural backlash that's been building up for years now and has finally exploded harder than me after a particularly
And then ruining, like, canon lore of Star Wars to, like, suit your cringy-ass Mary Sue situation.
strenuous session with Tatiana. The fact is, audiences today are getting a bit fucking sick of girl boss movies because they've had nothing but girl boss movies shoved down their throats for the past decade or so. And in particular, they're sick of seeing their favourite male-led franchises getting taken over by unlikable, arrogant, abrasive, and infallible.
Rings of Power is unironically criminal. Because Galadriel is such a powerful, awesome character. Why didn't they just have her? Like, okay, I'll explain from the start. Galadriel, you could have just written her as, like, a cool elf that developed in power and inherited power. And instead it's like right off the rip, it's like, no, I am powerful. I am girl boss. Right off the rip, within the first, like, 15 minutes of the entire thing. It's like, why? Nobody wants to see that shit. That's not relatable. Why can't you be like Eowyn, who's like a descendant of a cool, like, you know, nobility kind of like line of Rohirrim or whatever? Like, why couldn't they just do that? She wasn't like a fucking magical person or had any magical powers. She was just powerful and she killed that fucking big boss at the end.
Feminist power fantasies, usually written by talentless hacks and embittered activists who they're commanded to like and respect simply because they've been crowbarred in to replace someone far more popular. Fan bases don't work like that. The big pop culture franchises are the most obvious and high profile examples of this, but the truth is that it's spread.
Everyone knows how I feel about the She-Hulk. Everyone knows how I feel. That fucking scene where she's with the fucking male Hulk, and he says, like, yeah, I have to control my anger, and she basically says, like, yeah, well, I'm a woman. I always have to control my anger because of people like you. Like, I'm paraphrasing, but it was basically that. And I'm just sitting here like, you could have done this so much better and having it relatable and, like, being nice to him or something. I don't know, could have done a good job on that, but no, we have to script write like, oh, men bad, women need deal with men bullshit. It's like, actually, it goes both ways, bitch. The fuck?
To almost all facets of entertainment. Like, how many times have you been told that some old movie or TV show is getting a revival, updated for modern audience?
Yeah, it was in, like, somewhere in this sequence right here. She's like, I know how to control my anger.
Of course, usually followed by sneering think pieces decrying the original as a dated relic of a less enlightened time and fawning interviews with pretentious actors up on their soapboxes about how excited they are to bring a modern dimension to their formerly outdated characters. How many times have you seen your favourite male heroes brought out of cold storage just—
I hate that. I hate that they do that with, like, Harrison Ford. They did that with Star Wars and Indiana Jones. Like, why just— Chat, let them rest. Let them go be unk, like, eating ice cream with little kids, man. Like, oh my god, why are you like this? Let them retire with their family.
so they can be mocked, belittled, outperformed, and ultimately replaced by their idealized, overpowered female superiors. It's all happened so many times now that—
Did she really clock him like that?
times now that even the most idealized, overpowered female superiors—
Can't they say no? Actually, I actually think that, with the contract that they probably signed with Disney, I don't think they can. If you're, like, a key character in a Disney movie, you kind of have to, I'm pretty sure. It's like a Death Do Us Part kind of bullshit. Yeah, because they can call on you, basically, forever.
It's all happened so many times now that even the most easygoing, culturally neutral normies are just kind of fucking done with it. It's exhausting and demoralizing, and most people just can't handle it anymore. And at worst, a good chunk of audiences are actively rebelling against it. And what's the end result of all this? Well, in blunt terms, the female action star is fucking dead now.
And I don't understand Mulan as well. they had like such a normal gradient of her like power level and how she develops as a character, but for some reason the live action they had to like girl boss it up, even though she's literally a girl boss in the cartoon. Like, what are we doing?
Audiences have been burned so many times now that anytime a new female-led movie shows up, they basically roll their eyes and say, "Oh, here we fucking go, another girl boss." They're unwilling to give any female-led action.
And this actually validates all the misogynists, the unironic misogynists that like crawl around Twitter and are like, women need to be put in their place. Women shouldn't be allowed to vote. Like, that validates the fucking attitude, and that's not how it should be.
Movies a chance now, to the point where actual good and respectful examples like Furiosa and Ballerina all get lumped together and flushed down the same cultural toilet bowl as the watery shite excreted by Disney, Marvel, and Amazon. And when I think about it, that really is a shame, because believe it or not, there was once a time when we really did have it all. Go back as recently as the 2000s or even the early 2010s.
Yeah, exactly. They had women characters that supported the male character and they were girl bossy as fuck. Lord of the Rings, fucking Captain America, Iron Man with his like chick, like what's her name? The fucking blonde one, the strawberry blonde one. I don't remember. Yeah, Pepper, she's girl bossy too. She's smart. Like, what happened?
And we had a whole bunch of established female-led franchises like Resident Evil, Underworld.
Oh yeah, even though Resident Evil fucking sucks, like, not this one. This one's okay, this one's alright, this one, anything after this one's kind of like, whoa, what are you doing, man? Yeah, I don't know. First one was okay. It was really good slop. Really good slop.
Underworld, Tomb Raider, Kill Bill, and The Hunger Games. And
Kill Bill, like, has the most horrible start for a female character, and it centers around her. And it's like, it follows the journey to a T from a girl boss, like, you know, perspective, and nobody even batted an eye. Nobody said Quentin Tarantino was a fucking feminist.
Kill Bill and The Hunger Games, and you know what?
I don't really like Hunger Games, but that's just me. I think it's a cliche, like, really not well-written book and story, but that's just me. You're allowed to like it.
What? Nobody fucking complained about them then. There were no boycotts or backlashes or cultural warfare raging around them. Nobody cared because they existed alongside male-led franchises.
And they're hot. And they're hot. Do you know how many fucking 15-year-old boys wanted posters of these characters on their walls?
Instead of trying to replace them. There was enough room for everyone, and there still is today. The problem is that the well has been poisoned to such an extent that it's treated more like a battle to the death that only one side can walk away from, instead of a fun and vibrant genre that encourages new ideas and opportunities. One of the fundamental rules of the universe is that every action has a reaction, and if your action is to spend years shitting on male heroes just to elevate low-quality female replacements, then guess what? The reaction is the audiences will stop watching what you—
And nobody complained about Kill Bill. I never once read an article or like heard online, even from the most extreme, like right-leaning, like I don't like women in my video games bullshit. Nobody complained about Kill Bill. I know, like, I'm putting it on a pedestal, but she really is the main piece archetype of a girl boss character. She was assaulted. She lost everything. She lost her husband. It's literally just a fight to the death with other characters, man and woman. And it's just like, nobody complained. And what was this, like early 90s? No. Yeah, it was like late 90s, early 2000s when that fucking trilogy was happening, right? Nobody complained?
make, whether it's good or bad. The female action star is dead because the girl boss killed it.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all I've got for today.
Go away now.
Go away now.
Yep. Kill Bill writing was good, and the action scenes, man. They were realistic, but also slop. Like, action slop, but realistic. All the blood and shit. Yeah. 2003, the first Kill Bill? Yeah, I thought so. Okay, yeah. I don't know. I didn't watch it back then. I was too little. I remember asking my brother back in, like, 2006 if I could watch them. He said, no, it's too violent for you. So I said, okay, can I watch it when I'm 16? He's like, okay. Yeah, I was a little kid. I wanted to watch it. My brother wouldn't let me. It's a brutal movie. It's a brutal movie. So probably the appropriate thing to do.
Fire, 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 fire.